Hey, welcome to Oil Runners broadcast. Today we have Matt Von we'll just say Matt, okay? So he's a director, he is a horror film fanatic. Well, he deals with all that as well. So we're just gonna admit him into the Zoom and we will say hello, okay? All right, all right. All right. Hey Matt, we are recording now.
Awesome.
Hey,
Hey,
how are you?
good. How about you?
I'm great. I already did the introductions and stuff like that, so we can go into talking about who are you? Like,
Sounds good.
so your broadcast, what is that about?
Yes, we have two broadcasts that we do. We have the mostly pod out at night, mostly, as you can see the background of the old logo behind me here. So what we do is we do themed weekly horror movie reviews. So, for example, last week we did World War II horror movies. So we did um, Outpost, The Burial, and Overlord.
Okay.
So we like to theme our episodes based off like what's coming out, and if we have something new, like say Trap by M. Night Shyamalan, while we did all his other works, we will do that in a roundup episode. So we'll take something like that. But say, for example, we have Terrifier 3 coming out here in a couple of weeks, right?
Right.
So we will then review Terrifier 1 and 2. We've been saving it, and we'll do Terrifier 3.
Right.
And so we kind of go into the overall story of the movie, and if it's a new movie, we say, hey, spoilers ahead, and we kind of give our highlights and low points, what we liked, what we didn't like, and we give it out of 10 rating. And every week our out of 10s change, so we could have like number of chainsaw hands out of 10, or number of blown up cars, or shot for shot scenes.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I like the blowing up the cars kind of thing. Like, dude, I'm all for the blowing up the stuff.
Yeah. So what we'll do is then, like, if we have filler to do in there, if not nothing really new that fits into a theme, we'll do either a writer of the month or a director of the month. So we'll do, say, all of Toby Hooper's other movies that aren't Texas Chainsaw Massacre. So Funhouse, Eaten Alive, and Life Force.
Okay. All right. Now who did you have on your podcast so far?
For this pre-recorded podcast we do, it's just my co-host Salem and myself.
Okay.
We will be doing a special guest, an actual paid movie critic for Terrifier, that's going to be coming on as a special guest for that episode.
Okay.
It'll be the first one in 115 episodes that we've done. We'll have a special guest.
Wow. All right. So now I'm curious.
Yes.
How in the world did you get into this? How did your podcast actually start? Like, were you like sitting there? I'm not saying drinking or something, just in your random room, like, hey, yo, like,
So my co-host Salem and myself, we work professionally in our day jobs. We've been working together at the same companies for the past 8 years.
okay.
And we started playing online Dungeons and Dragons, online video games like Destiny 2. And so we're doing a weekly gaming session. And we'll always discuss what horror movies we've watched that week. So a couple of years ago, we go, you know what? We should probably just record ourselves, because we're doing it anyway, and
Yeah.
suggesting stuff as they come up. And so, yeah, we started in August of 2022. And yeah, like I said, we're a little bit over 2 years, but 113 episodes done in
Wow.
2 years.
That's a lot of work.
It is. Yeah, especially in October, where we do one movie per day. So we do 31 movies in October.
Oh, nice. Okay. So get that Halloween theme and all. Yeah. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Do those on the Friday the 13th as well and all that kind of stuff, or?
Not really necessarily that. We were kind of saving the Friday the 13th for the TV show Camp Crystal Lake when it comes out.
Okay.
When we have something that big of a franchise, we will split it up into multiple episodes. Because we tried doing all the Alien movies in one episode the first time we did that. It was about a 3.5 hour to 4 hour podcast that we recorded.
Uh,
And I'm going, this is way too long
right.
for consumption. So we go, okay, maybe we shouldn't try to do 7 movies in a podcast. So we kind of do this sweet spot of about 3 to 4 each week.
Okay.
So
Yeah. Yeah, that would be good for like the guests to watch on a
mhm.
simple but yet entertaining um conversation. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Wow. Do you have any projects coming up? I know you were talking about one.
Yeah. So, kind of going on the other show I do is Conversations in the Void, which is live on YouTube, where I do the similar thing to what we're doing is I interview guests that come on, whether they write short stories that are horror based, whether they do comic books, whether they're artists for comics, anyone that's interested in horror or has done something horror related, we bring onto their show.
Okay.
So we've been doing that a little over the year now, and it's been growing. It's steadily growing, not as fast as I want it to be, but we're still getting some decent names on here and just having a blast doing it.
Yeah. I mean, I'd rather have the slower paced and you can get a better
Mm-hmm.
you're not rushing the video, you're not rushing the editing, you're not rushing all of that. It's just literally um easy going like today, like just
Yep.
one a day. You can like just one, not like 5,000 different topics and like, oh, okay, and
Yeah.
yeah, and
So yeah, we do it
finding
live with our guests. We pre-warn them and say, we try to say it's about a 30-minute show just because that's the normal consumption size of an episode of something. But
right.
if the conversation is going like really, really well and just flowing just tremendously, we'll go a little bit longer. We've done 45 minutes, we've done an hour. Uh, Larry was an hour and a
Yeah.
half.
Yeah. Yeah. I think I got about 2 hours, 24 minutes on that one.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he kept on saying, "Oh, I gotta go within the hour." At the hour, I was like, oh, "Okay, I mean,
Yeah.
it's up to you guys when you want to go." So, but he's just kept on going. I was like, "Okay, no, I mean,
Yeah, like I said,
just
we shoot for 30 minutes, but we tell people, maybe 45, just to be cognitive of their time as well. Say, hey, we're planning this for 30 to 45 minutes. If it's going too long, we let them make that determination because we do it at about 9 p.m. Central.
mhm,
So for people in California, easy. It's 7, but we interview a lot of people on the East Coast, so it's 10 o'clock for them. So we're very
right,
cognitive of that time. So typically, if we have an East Coast person on that thinks that it's going to be a little too late, so we'll do an hour earlier, 2 hours earlier, just to compensate for that time difference.
see, I like that. Yeah, you're not just stuck in
Mm-hmm.
one thing. As long as the consumer knows or that they're getting something,
Yeah.
you know, getting that. Yeah, that's kind of hard on like YouTube and all that stuff. It's like, oh, okay,
Yeah. Yeah.
like,
Like I said, we try to be the consistent time just so we have that slotted schedule, like a normal TV show, if you would. So,
yeah,
but
right.
no, like I said, it's just absolute blast. We have people on there that are new to the horror world or making a project that just wrote their second book or their second issue of a comic book. And they don't do very many podcast shows or interviews. And I love seeing the point when they just get relaxed, like they realize, okay, I'm not nervous anymore. This is a great conversation, completely relaxed. And you can see that comfort level just kick in for them.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Because then I mean it's gonna go even better after that,
Mm-hmm.
you know. Um, yeah, I mean, so you can't remember, did you said you did write something or you
Yes,
didn't?
I
What
yeah
did you write?
I have written a couple things. One we shot probably 80% of it, so it's not officially out yet. We still have pickup scenes to do, but um, we took a movie that one of the production company I'm part of is Horror Dads. There's 6 of us. We're all dads, and we're kind of weekend warriors, guerrilla run shoots type stuff. So we all have day jobs, and we shoot on the
Mhm.
weekends, nights, wherever we can find time to make a movie.
Right.
So what happened was about April of this year, one of the horror dads that's in Michigan, he goes, "Hey, I'm Brian something. Let's look at it together." I go, "Okay, cool. Let's work on it. Let's make a story." and it's originally going to be about a skinwalker. And we're going, well, we're micro budget, so skinwalker is a little bit hard to do for us. So we
Right.
go, you know what? Let's keep kind of like the premise of what we were doing. You know, it's going to be essentially a TV crew making a documentary type show. But we changed what the entity is. I can't say what it is right now, but I got to work with it and rewrote about 60 to 70% of the script to integrate my own lore into this entity.
Okay. Okay.
um, it was absolute blast because I was looking at ancient gods and entities and demons from old like France
Yeah.
because this is being shot in Michigan and the French were the ones that settled that area a couple hundred years ago. I go, you know what? I don't see very many movies about old French gods. It's usually Greek or Norse or something like that, or
That's
Celtic.
that really is true. Like it always is like the Greeks more. Is the
Mm-hmm.
Greeks that
Yeah.
I've yeah. Unless I
So
missed something, but yeah,
yeah, so it was really interesting to dive into that research and go, you know what? I have never heard of this creature mentioned in any horror movie or anything. So I go, okay, now let me integrate it into our story. So that was completely rewriting, the ending, the entity, and everything like that.
wow. So how long did it take you to do all that? Like, just to
Um, to rewrite it, it was probably a couple of weeks just to make sure we were, the other writer and I were going back and forth on it, sharing a document of, okay, what did we like from this original script? What did we want to change into the new script? What can we keep? And we realized we couldn't keep most of it other than the initial premise of why the crew is there.
right. Okay.
So that's how we kept it. Now, we shot, it was over multiple weekends. A part of it, I wasn't there because it is about 3.5 hours away from me. Everyone else was local. So
Yeah.
I'm kind of the camera guy in this just because I also act as well. So I'm just the camera guy. So I'm not going to be in front of the camera. So if you guys are able to do this festival
Right.
without me, if everyone else is there, go ahead and do it. If I need to do ADR after fact, we can go ahead and do that.
Right. Okay.
So yeah.
Just like put me on Zoom. We're good. Just like
Yeah.
I'll just watch from the phone.
Yeah. So we did that. And then a couple weeks later, I went up to Michigan and we filmed is over the weekend. So I got up there probably about Friday about 3 p.m. and we shot for between Friday, Saturday, and Sunday about 28 hours.
Wow. That's Phew. All right. You got more energy than I do.
It's funny because I felt like the old guy there. So um
Oh, are you telling your age?
oh yeah, yeah. Well, one of the guy's wife she's as old as my wife and I have been together. So we started dating in high school. I was like, okay, I'm old, I get it. But it was an absolute blast. It was done really well. I am very pleased with the turnout of what we have so far. I got to sit in the makeup chair for an hour and a half getting work done. That was my first experience doing that. And
Huh.
I think looked really well. And I was in that makeup for about 7 hours.
Oh, so was it like the kind of a makeup where the Grinch, like Jim Carrey had to be in the Grinch outfit, or was it a little less than that for
It
yours?
was liquid latex layering
Oh,
and cooling and heating and to build up something on my head.
oh no.
So it was definitely bloody for sure.
Wow. Like, oh man, was it hot outside? Did we had to be in all that too? On
We were
top of it?
primarily shooting at night, so it was pretty cool.
Okay,
But
so it wasn't as bad
no,
as
it
it could.
actually is July, so in the Midwest here, still get pretty hot, but it was fine. Now my outfit, my character wore, it had a flannel shirt on, and so that made it pretty hot.
Right. Yeah, shoot. So what is your wife? You have children too, right? You said.
Yes.
What is your does your family go in with this with you? Or are they
N-
totally off?
my kids are 9, 10, and 13.
Uh-huh.
So they realize they can't watch necessarily everything I do right now, but as they get older, they definitely can. My wife, she thinks it's interesting. She's glad I'm having fun doing it. As long as it doesn't take away from family time, she's generally okay with it.
Oh, well, at least she's supportive.
Yeah,
That's a good thing.
yeah. But we did get her involved with another movie we're shooting that's coming out in a
Nice.
couple of weeks because an actress unfortunately couldn't make it. So we had to improvise a kill, and
Oh,
my wife's the director came up here. I was assistant director on this. I convinced my wife to be in the movie to get killed in the movie.
so what? That was your payback for her not not being a part of that? Oh, that, yeah,
She got Halloween decorations out of it. So
got it. Okay, all right. Oh, that's great. It's like, well, I mean, shoot, I guess it works.
Mhm.
Oh man, that'd be even better if it was you doing it too. Like being the other character.
Oh, I ended up being the killer. The other guy couldn't make it as the killer, so I was the one that killed my wife on screen.
Nice. Let everybody know that he did not kill her in real life. Let's just put it that way. All right.
Yes.
She is still alive.
Hmm.
Oh man. If you don't mind.
What was that?
How long have you and your wife been together?
Uh, we started dating in 2002 in high school.
Was that
So
I graduated 2002. So did you graduate then too? Or
I graduated in 2002. Yes.
oh, okay, so we're the same age. Oh,
She graduated in 2005. So
okay. I'm not even gonna say none. We'll leave it at that. but, but man, yeah, that's gosh. Do you miss school?
no,
Like at all?
no,
No?
I do IT as my day job, so there's always new learning and classes and technology to learn. So I'm always learning. So I don't miss school.
Actually, IT is a good spot to be in nowadays because we grew up without all that stuff,
Yep.
you know, and now we got to live with all these little Gen Zers and all the, oh, I hate the technology. Like, I'm not a big fan. I really am not. If I have to learn it, I will, but I'm not one of those people. I'm just like, whatever, just do what you guys do. I'll still encycle,
Hmm.
you know, but man, so your partner for the podcast,
Hmm.
be on the other side, or is he there to meet?
Uh, no, he's not. He is never seen in person.
What? Oh, okay.
He likes to be behind the scenes on a lot of stuff. So the pre-recorded show that we do, it's just voices. So we do it that way. I mean, the closest you'll get to him is that's him right here, but
Oh, I thought.
I'm over
Oh,
here. He's over here.
okay. Y'all look like brothers, though. My bad. Just with
um,
glasses.
so yeah, it's funny because people like go, does he really exist? I go, he does. He just doesn't want to be seen. Even when we do the live show, he's my producer off screen.
Okay.
So he controls the comments, any questions come in, keeps track of time, runs the banner and all that stuff for me in StreamYard as I'm talking to the guest.
So he's an introvert. Got it.
I am
He's the
too. So
introvert.
yeah, I am too though. I just realized doing the show and wanting to get back into to writing sketches, skits, shorts, and stuff like that, that I need to get back in front of a camera. So
Yeah. Yeah. It was hard, right? Like the camera
yes.
thing. I'm now getting used to it. I mean, it's a little different. I'm not
Mhm.
used to being, I like bears. Let's just put it that way. I'll be in front of a bear, a moose, all that before any people. Like that's
Mhm.
one of my, I like people, but don't get me wrong. I'm just not that type. Like I'll sit on a mountain and away from trauma. Like
Yeah.
all the crazy. Like,
Yeah.
yeah.
When I was in high school, I took drama for 4 years and I was in theater for 4 years. So,
Oh,
I learned to act, to do all the stuff, but I started writing and directing, working lights, sound, house, and all that stuff. And as I was doing that, probably in my junior senior year, I realized I like being behind the camera more than
yeah.
in front.
Yeah. Do you have any like little tidbits that you can give out about directing and things that people are coming up that they may like, oh, do you have any advice or anything?
Um, it's don't be a pushover, but also don't be a dick. you know, there's an easy middle ground that if you're nice and you work with people well, people are going to want to work with you. That word will spread that you're great to work with, and that's all you can really do. Because if you have people that trust you, that like you,
Hmm.
you can work together as a team better.
Okay. What about writing, like different type of writing styles, if they're writing in the horror? What kind of advice could you give on that?
As like I said, I took like a 15-year break from this, so um writing is just write the way you write. Don't ever be afraid to ask someone else for their opinions, for their thoughts, to get a second pair of eyes on it. Because in your head it may make sense, but if someone else reads it and they don't understand the story and they're
Yeah.
supposed to, it's good to have that soundboard as well. Just make sure you get someone that you can trust to help you out. So when I'm writing, my co-host Salem will be my fact checker, my screenwriter, my ghostwriter too, because he really likes to write a lot.
Okay.
So when I'm typing stuff out and writing stuff out, I'll go, hey, we watched thousands of horror movies. I'm like, make sure I'm not ripping this off of someone else because I've seen so many. I just maybe have an influence there, but I'm like, has this been done before? He'll read it and go, yes or no. And if he goes, it hasn't been done, all right, great. I'll be the first one to do it.
Okay. Yeah. Speaking on that, how do you, because a lot of the movies have like almost the same kind of a theme, like on Lifetime, you got the same, like you could tell that they use the same, what do you call it? Template
Mm-hmm.
kind of thing. So how do you get out of that copyright thing? If I think it's kind of thing, how do you get away from that copyright thing? Is there a certain way that with utilizing kind of almost the same thing because you can't kind of get away with it, right? Like
Right.
on a
I
scene.
mean, realistically, there's only 3 or 4 stories that exist, and they've always been that story since Shakespeare, since people have been writing stories. It's the hero's journey, is the biggest one where you have essentially the rise, fall, and redemption of someone. So think of Luke Skywalker in Star Wars. That is a classic hero's journey. Um,
Right.
yeah. So with horror though, you kind of have the ramp up, right? The third act is where things really go insane, to say the least. So you have about 20 minutes of just crap hitting the fan. So you're just building that up, that you want to have tidbits of, let's say you're making a movie about a demon and you have to
Mhm.
defeat it. Instead of having that magic MacGuffin that comes out of nowhere that people go, how'd that work? You kind of lay the groundwork and hints to it along the way.
Oh, okay. All right. And then you can let them out kind of
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah.
Next. Okay.
Because I know when doing the movie reviews that if someone goes, I found a way to kill this demon in the last 5 minutes. How? You didn't do any research. You didn't learn anything. You just did it. How'd you know that? And
Huh.
if you don't have the answer, like that's lazy writing, in my opinion.
Yeah.
You want
Like
to lay
put
the
the hints in
groundwork. Yeah. Yeah.
yeah, put them in the kitchen or something,
Mm-hmm.
cereal box or whatever. Like, yeah, I can see that, wow. Okay. I mean, in podcasting, what kind of advice can you give on that for newbies on podcasters? Like,
Really, it just continue at it. Just don't give up. Just be consistent, and find your niche, find your groove, and just continuously to do it, because people will find you. you know and do something like this, do networking, talk to other
right,
people, do
like
do
the microphone.
yeah.
What's the deal with that? Is that actually true?
What was that?
Is that actually true? Like
Is
you
what?
have to have like you got to go buy a Canon camera and then you have to have that there. And then the micro, I mean, obviously I have my microphone later, I got a Bluebell here, but
Mm-hmm.
I have one like yours, but
Yeah.
you know what I mean? That's for a different computer anyway. But, all that was like very, treacherous in the
Mm-hmm.
beginning. I'm like, what the heck, man? Can't we just
Yeah.
use something like, you know what I mean? Or whatever, like trying to find the correct product and then
Yeah.
watching the YouTuber and then be like, oh, how did they get that so clear? I'm sitting here trying to get all. Is it true that you have to have a like a camera, like when you put it on a tripod and then you're recording? Um,
No, you don't have to do that. You really, I mean, a lot of people go crazy and go spend, go get the podcaster starter kit for $400 or $500.
right.
That's not necessary. Use what you have. As long as you have a decent microphone that is kind of noise canceling, and 1080 camera, because you don't need 4K, because YouTube barely shows 4K as it is, and programs like StreamYard and Zoom don't really do that anyway. So you can get away with a 720 1080 camera. So take just a $60 camera, and you should be good to go. Get a $50 microphone at best, and you're good to go. Grow your equipment as your show grows.
Okay. Where can you look up the equipment? That was another treacherous path too. Like
Yeah.
there's so much out there. Like,
Right. Yeah. I have a Blue Yeti as one mic, and I got this microphone for my birthday with a soundboard. So I upgraded my equipment. It's the first time in a
okay.
couple of years. So you go to Amazon, look at reviews, go to Discord, find other podcast networks, go to podcast groups on Facebook, go on Instagram, Twitter, put it out there, and people will tell you what to get. you know,
Okay. Okay. Uh, I do have a question.
yes.
Okay, so those reviews on like the reviewers, so like say, and I'm calling this out nicely, like Shauna Steele. Okay, I knew
Mm-hmm.
he was a newbie, right? I don't know if you ever heard of him.
I have
Um,
not.
okay, so well, he does the reviews on like my 600 pound life and all that
Mm-hmm.
stuff, but I definitely watched him grow into different levels.
Mm-hmm.
And I know I like Cinnamon Toast Ken, like I watch them a lot too.
Yeah.
But but Sean of Steel, he went from very, very beginning to now, like he changed, you can tell he changed kind of the equipment kind of stuff or whatever. But my issue is I can't figure out, and I utilized it myself, is when you're watching TV or doing those reviews, he's like sitting in the corner,
Mm-hmm.
and he's like, I don't have all that equipment. You know what I mean? Like, um, how in the world did he do it? What is the secret to that? I cannot figure that out for the life of me.
OBS.
What the heck is that?
It is OBS is what most game streamers use. It's way you put your overlay, get you chroma key your background, your green screen, and position you wherever you want. So you can have streams from YouTube, streams from TV, streams from gaming, anything that you want. You just layer it like you would like an Adobe Photoshop thing. You just have different layers and scenes, is what it's called. And so you just lay it out the way you want. Is it a pain in the butt? It is. It's not fun, but most streamers use it.
OBS. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that's a whole nother app I gotta look up. Right. Yeah, 'cause I'm like, this
Lu-
sucks. I tried it. I
Luckily,
mean,
it's free.
I thought, oh, good. I like that word. I'm sitting there like, I've tried the whole, Zoom, and then that scares the square screen share, and then with the
Mm-hmm.
stream card, like all that. And I was like, well, I'm not even in the situation. You can hear me, but just kind of like, this makes no sense. What the heck? I know he was a newbie at this. What am I doing wrong?
Yeah, OBS. Yeah, OBS. I stream video games too, so I joined a streamer service on Discord just to talk to people and really learn the ropes. So like I said, you set scenes. So you have everything you want in your scene, you set up individually and you control separately. So you have your camera separately, you have your speaker separately, you have your mic separately, you have the background separate, and you just kind of layer it how you want.
Okay, I'm gonna try it. Like, I think I have everything, right? Like the screen and
Mm-hmm.
everything else. I just need the program, right?
Yeah.
Okay. OBS. All right. Does that take a lot of what do you call it? Room on your computer?
No, no. There's also a OBS Studio with, I think it's just the web browser you can use too.
Oh,
So you have a
okay.
full on client, which gets you more tools, but there's also just online as a web browser as well.
Oh, okay. Well, thank you for that tidbit because that
Yes.
I was screwed, man. I really don't. Like, this is so much. Like, and I was just like, oh, this computer crap is messing me up. I can't do this. Like, but so I'll just do Zoom. We'll figure that out later.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, because I got the editing part a little bit better. So I said, okay, well, at least, layering new stuff. But StreamYard and I we're okay, but we're not okay. So I don't, everybody else has got it, but my StreamYard just doesn't seem to work right. So I said, okay, Zoom it is.
Yep. I use StreamYard heavily, and I also use OBS as well because you can stream to YouTube, stream to Twitch, any Kick, all that stuff through OBS as well.
Okay,
And
so is
you
OBS almost like StreamYard then? Like the way
uh
that they use
it's not, it's for a personal interaction, not necessarily with other people.
Okay.
So if you
Okay.
only wanted to capture yourself, that's easy. So if you want to do video game streaming or just do a pre-record session and put it out there, it's perfect for that. If you want to involve someone else with
Okay.
their other camera, you need something like StreamYard. I find it a
Okay.
lot easier for that.
Yeah. I did like StreamYards, how they set up all the you can put your logo and
Mm-hmm.
and then streaming the stuff on the bottom and all that. I love that. Like that was great. I just couldn't seem to get the video to work properly. It just didn't
Hmm.
it was always glitching or something. And I was like, well, everybody else is like really clear. Mine is just not. So okay. And then when you press record or end record, it looks like you're still recording, so it takes forever for it to
It's
stop.
about 3 to 5 seconds for it to stop.
Yeah, like it froze a lot too. So I said, okay. But yeah. So how's it over at where you're at in your town? Got a nice
Like
little town, mom and pop
it's
town, or is it a
we are Northwest Indiana. Most people call us region rats because we are not that far from Chicago. So like the rest of Indiana views us differently because we're, like I said, within
uh-huh.
15 miles of Chicago. So
Okay. So you were born and raised there in Indiana?
yes, yep.
Have you traveled outside of Indiana?
I've been
Like,
to 48 states.
okay, so you haven't been here.
Not nope. Only continental U.S.
What we are, okay, listen, dang it, US, but I mean, even TikTok doesn't consider us the US. Like, I found that out. I was trying to buy something off of their thing, and they were like, oh, well, you have to change your address because it's not the US. Are you serious? Like, Alaska is the US.
Mm-hmm.
Whatever. Like, whatever. But yeah, no. So what was your favorite state?
Uh, I love Colorado.
Okay.
I really do. Growing up, the reason I went to all these states because we grew up camping with a pull behind camper, pop up camper, and we were going on vacation for a week, week and a half in the summer. So one summer we did Yellowstone. So we hit South Dakota, North Dakota, Montana, Idaho, Wyoming.
Well, that's a goal. It's Yellowstone. Yeah.
So
Camping's great. What's your
yeah,
part of that? What's your favorite part of the camping trip?
uh, sometimes while growing up, it was coming home, but No, I really love, despite my allergies and being an IT guy, I really enjoyed growing up the outdoors. Like I was going to be a park ranger at one point in time in my life, just because I enjoyed it that much. I love nature and going on trails and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
I
me
I I,
too.
I hate going to the big city. Absolutely hate it. I'd rather see
We have so much
stars.
in common. Yeah, we have so much in common. Like I said earlier, I'd rather be out with the bears and the mountains and all that stuff in the ocean because that's right down the street, literally. I mean, the
Mhm.
bears are here, um, but the ocean we have downtown. Like I can never say that I've never that I mean whales and all that downtown. Like that's our but yeah, that whole I mean I love the fires. The
Mhm.
sitting around the fire and just enjoying it and those trails. And then finding I call it ugly, ugly, ugly woods all throughout. And then you find this beautiful lake, just out of nowhere, and it's just
Mhm.
absolutely that's one of my favorite things to find is something simple or nobody really knows about or something
Right.
and
Yeah.
in the that's one of my favorites.
Yeah. For me,
Uh,
because we're so close to Chicago, you
yeah.
don't get to see the stars. There's so much pollution
Yep.
and light pollution that you can't see it. So, I going down to like Mammoth Cave in Kentucky, just going underground, which is really cool. I love it. And then camping and then seeing just the sky, what the sky's supposed to look like without the light pollution and everything like that.
Maybe that's what society's missing. Like, they're so polluted and they forget that there's actually life beyond the pollution,
Mm-hmm.
the sky. That really
Yeah.
does something to you though. Like when you're looking at the sky, I don't know about you, but me, I'm like, I'm calm, and then all these other thoughts come through and it's nice,
Yeah.
you know. Do you have any spots out there, like when you were out there in the wild, um, where there's no cell phone usage at all? Like you can't, no cell service at all?
Funny enough, my buddy who's also part of Horror Dads, the town he lives in Illinois, my cell phone does not work at
Mhm.
all. It's
That's crazy.
his does, mine doesn't. So
Oh, is it like the service company
it
or
is,
like,
it is, yeah. I guess like the tower got like destroyed a couple of years ago, and they just never replaced it for who I have.
oh man, yeah, because okay, so
But
there's really
yeah, but I like going to the woods and just camping and just being out in nature. One of my goals would be to go to Iceland and go sleep in one of those
oh yeah,
domes that you can camp out under the stars, but still be enclosed and see the northern lights from your bed.
oh yeah, yeah, yeah. You don't even have to do the dome up here. You can just go out your back door.
All right.
It's like it is what it is. But yeah, that would be cool. I liked the Iceland. Um,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, that was one. Mine would have been Ireland or Scotland. That's one of my two of my places that where I die. That's where I'm at. Like,
Yeah. Yeah.
you know,
I'd rather go see nature things than man-made things.
right. Yeah, absolutely. It's a whole world. I did notice a difference. There's a bridge. It's one of my favorite bridges, and I'm not a big man-made person, but like you said, but there's a bridge in Anchorage where it separate like when you go under it, it separates you from the society technically, and then you could tell it's a vacation. Like I go right under it, I breathe, and I'm like, oh, finally vacation. Still there's houses, that you're going to, which is right after the bridge a little bit, but it's on the Seward Highway.
Yeah.
And but it's you could tell and the atmosphere is different. It's so pure and and then just listening and like when the eagles fly by over your head and everything, they don't care about you but they do care about you to a point. But it's you're one with the nature. If you're really
Mm-hmm.
good at being part of that, you can really enjoy.
Right. you're if you're still there, you're frozen for me.
So back to reality. like,
Yeah, I said
like,
where I live, Indiana is a crossroads America. I can the expressway I can see almost from my house can take me to L.A. or D.C. and there's north south road that takes me to Florida. I mean, that's I'm a highway boy, but that's how connected I am to this
okay,
the country just from my house.
nice. Okay, it's like sitting in that one place where you can hit two states in one spot, kind
Mhm.
of thing. Yeah, I have yet to do that one, but I drove through Indiana. That was it. I haven't like actually experienced Indiana. I might have to go visit
Yeah.
because I was in Pennsylvania, Harrisburg, Hershey,
Hmm.
Palmyra. That's where I graduated, and yeah, I don't think I'll go back to live. but I'll visit the people, but living I can't do it. But yeah, that I liked I liked Texas. Texas
Hmm.
was kind of cool. That one was kind of cool. I have yet to be in California. That is a goal. Um, but I think I'm okay up here right now.
There you
I found my plot, you know. Because I was like, I'm gonna be buried in Fairbanks. I had to choose, you know. I was like Fairbanks because it's way out yonder.
go. Hmm.
And whoever didn't come and visit, they all said, "Oh yeah, we'll come and visit. We always wanted to be in Alaska." Blah blah blah. Yeah, we know we ain't gonna come. Like whatever. Like whoever, like my kids or whatever, they can literally the way you have to travel is you have going on the highway. I have traveled practically all the way up. You know what I mean? All these places, so they would have to travel all those places before they get to me into my plot. Like I'm like,
Right.
now you live my life. You've seen where I was at. Now you get
Yep.
to enjoy it. That was my whole plan. You enjoyed, where I was at, the bears, the moose, all that whole experience. You got
Hmm.
it. Like, you got it. Now you can come and talk to me. Thank you.
There you go.
Oh, the Iditarod. Have you heard about that?
Yes.
Um, you gotta come up here one time and try it out. It's really cool in
Yeah.
person.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's I'd want to play with the dogs more than anything else, but
possible. They got that too. Like here, they got that. They do that at the. I found them at the state fair. Played with the puppies.
hmm.
The runners, yeah, they were pretty cool. And then you could volunteer from wherever and just come up here and volunteer to help out the actual race, you know. And they'll just drive right by you. The people are pretty cool,
Yeah.
and stuff like that. And get to see, I mean, I almost got ran over by the dogs. It's like, oh man, trying to walk through the snow. But the experience in itself is really cool. But if you ever get a chance on the Iditarod, that is a really cool experience. Just to even fly up here just to do and then come back. It's always every March.
Yeah.
So yeah, sucks in the snow, but they kind of need it. So
Well, I mean, I'm in Midwest. Yeah, we get snow all the time. So
yeah, it's totally worth it. But they do the you could pay to go on their land
hmm.
and they'll teach you about different things. You can go on one of the dog sleds, and try it out, like and really play with the puppies or the
Hmm.
dogs. Yeah, it's only a couple $100, but it's worth and seeing it because a lot of people they think that they're abusing some did, but some they're the dogs really love it. Like just
Yeah.
hearing when they hear 10 and then all of a sudden the dogs are like, yeah, like so
For sure.
oh man. Oh yeah. But yeah, I mean, what do you have out there? Like that's
That-
um
That's big. Uh
yeah, big or those small town, in the movies they have those the strawberry pie, contest kind of thing or whatever, what's your deal? Um
I mean, I don't live that far from Gary, Indiana, which once the murder capital of the world. Uh, I
is that
guess
how you really got in?
A lot of people like the fact that Michael Jackson's house is over here too, his childhood
Okay.
home. Like I said, most people go to Chicago though, quite honestly, because they like to go down that magnificent mile, go to the Loop, go see, eat their deep dish pizza.
And honestly, I'm not a big fan of the deep dish pizza. Don't kill me, y'all, but like I'm not a big fan of that. I don't understand the hype of it, but
You get to wait an hour for a really thick piece of pizza that you can only eat one of.
yeah, it's all carbs, but it's like,
Mm-hmm.
the hype. like, I don't get it. I
Yeah.
really don't get the hype, but everybody's conditioned, I guess.
Yep.
So what would be your favorite thing that you would like to go to in Chicago
Um,
that everybody does?
there's, I mean, concerts. Quite honestly, we have a House of Blues. We have a lot of small venues. I listen to a lot of punk. I always
Okay.
have. So, they've never played like huge places. I don't count Green Day playing Soldier Field or Wrigley Field as punk, but like my favorite band, Bad Religion, plays these small personal venues,
Okay.
and tickets are still only about 20-25 bucks.
For real?
Yeah.
Well, shoot.
So, I'm like, I could have seen them at like where the Chicago Bulls played with Pearl Jam, but the tickets were like 200 bucks. I go, no, I can pay 20 bucks and, be right next to them and, talk to them every once in a while.
Right. Oh,
So,
so did you ever get the chance to meet them in person?
yes. Yeah.
You did?
Yeah.
What did
Yeah. They're pretty cool. Sometimes they would kind of just before they went on, they would kind of stand out around the concert area and see who notices them, just for fun. And I was getting
it's like,
I was walking past like the merchandise shop and I saw half of them there. I'm like, holy crap! And I'm like, hey, can you guys sign my ticket? They're like, you're the first person to notice us. I'm like,
what?
yeah. And so everyone's like, wait, why is this guy getting autographs from these people? Like, oh crap, it's Bad Religion.
Nice. That's actually pretty smart that they did that to see where, who, what, and then they can
Mm-hmm.
that's cool. I mean, that's a good way to do it.
Yeah.
Uh, Without, did they have like all these security guards or anything like that too? Or they
No.
just was just standing out
Yeah, just
there
standing out there.
ready to for somewhere?
Yeah.
Oh man. Who else do you go to?
There's a band called Our Last Night. We kind of discovered them a couple of years ago because they did a cover of Heavy by Linkin Park right after Chester Benjamin died. And we liked their cover. So we started listening to them. And, we are, a Patreon of theirs. And so we get free meet and greets every time they come into the town, into the city.
Oh, okay. All right.
So I think I met them about 4 times now. And we just saw them a couple of months ago. And they're like I went up, just to get a picture and stuff signed. They pointed at me like, we've met you before.
Like, oh no, I met Lamar. I'm a frequent flyer now.
and the singer goes, I thought you were bringing your kids with you.
Oh
I'm like,
no.
so we told them last time because our kids are big fans of theirs too. So
Yeah. Oh,
and they're family men as well. So I'm like, what? Next time you guys are in, I'm bringing the kids.
like,
So I'm
okay,
like,
besties, we're coming.
I just thought it was really funny because only a handful of times they travel the country and stuff like that. Grant, I look like a lot of people, bald beard with tattoos, but to the point that they actually recognize me, remember that I've seen them before was pretty interesting.
Yeah, like that's actually an honor for a person to remember somebody like that. Like that's
Yeah.
out of all those people that they meet, that
Mm-hmm.
you made an impression on them somehow, way or another.
Yeah. Well,
Oh,
the first time we met them, it wasn't just a photo opportunity. It was like an hour and a half. You could talk to them freely. It was just
Right.
like a gathering. It was a very, very small bar venue. So we did get to talk to them, each of them personally, for probably 20 minutes each. So it was a deep conversation about their music, family life, our kids, and stuff like that. So I'm assuming maybe that had something to do with it.
Maybe because they probably get those random just like there's just the questions about the guitar or something,
Mm-hmm.
whatever it is, just the fan questions.
Right.
The oh my gosh, like I can't believe I'm meeting you, blah blah blah.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, well, what about me? Like, or really a conversation. I know a lot of people are probably like, yeah, I'm like kind of yearning for a conversation. Ask me some interesting questions. Like that's how I see them. Like, as okay, like I'm yes, your biggest fan, but I'm not gonna go beyond that and be like, oh my God.
Yeah, like I said, especially when I do these shows and these conventions, I don't like to fanboy out. Internally, I am. I am.
Thank you.
I really am. But they're people.
Yeah,
Treat it like people. That's really what they want.
right.
You
Yeah,
know.
that's how I felt with Larry.
Mm-hmm.
Like I was like, oh my God, I grew up watching him. Like,
Yeah.
and like this is like happening. And then it was like, like talking to grandpa, uh just
Yeah.
like, huh, all right, just let him talk. But yeah, I agree with you. Yeah, I was definitely
Yeah. When we got press passes for Days of the Dead earlier this year, we were able to talk to all the celebrities if we wanted to. So we had the press passes, but I had a couple laser discs to get signed. I met Heather Langenkamp, and so it's really funny because I'm like, hey, can you sign this? And she's like, okay, what do you want to say? I go, whatever you want. This is your movie. You're in. You can
yeah,
write whatever you want. I'm not going to sell it on eBay. Write the name Graveyard because that's my online persona
right.
and stuff like that. And just having a conversation with her PR agent that was there too, because we were waiting in line. And then she like got signed. She's like, "Oh, did you want a picture too?" I'm like, "Well, I only paid for the sign." She's like, "Oh, no, no, don't worry about it. We'll get a picture too."
Yeah.
you
Oh my
know.
gosh. Yeah. Yeah. That's why I like the Comic Cons.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a big nerd.
So am I.
That's like my and I didn't know we had one here in Alaska. I was like, okay, I went in Pennsylvania and I met a couple people. I met like Bart, what's her name for Bart Simpson that played
Mm-hmm.
Bart, and like Arrow, the guy from Arrow and all that stuff. So I
Yeah,
was like, well, it's kind of cool. This is a good way to meet people.
yeah, yeah. I completely agree. And when I did Days of the Dead, I talked. Yes, there was Clive Barker there who wrote Hellraiser,
Yeah,
Hellraiser cast reunion, but there's also the independent horror directors and podcasters there
yep,
too. And I made sure it wasn't just the big names that are there. I talked to every single person there,
absolutely. Yeah, they're
and everyone I talked to booked on my show.
nice. Nice.
So I go, this is how you do it. You just have a conversation with them. Just they're there. They're people. Doesn't matter if
Yeah,
they're the A-listers or not. They're there.
right. Yeah, I found, yeah, because let's see, who did we have? Claudia Christian. She was one of my favorites.
Mm-hmm.
I was just watching her on TV. Like, I didn't know she was going to be there because on the radio, I heard the wrestler, right? And I was like, oh, what? What's he doing in Alaska? Right? And I was kind of curious. And I was like, wait, we have a Comic Con?
Yeah.
Like, hold up. So I'll go like over here. And I instead of wearing and doing that fangirl thing, right? Because I was like, you
Mm-hmm.
have to meet the Hall of Famer. I'm sorry, just that you cannot like not meet him.
Right.
Okay, to me
Right.
that was okay, like so. Um, but I was like, you know what? But I wore the culture because I'm part of that culture too, right? And
Mm-hmm.
instead, I treated him like an elder of the culture versus, oh my God, like you're Rikishi. And then I spoke to him in the language, right? And he was speaking English, and then it caught him off guard. And that's what I was like, there's something to this, you know? And so
Yeah.
treating him that, it was, he just sat back and he was like, huh, you know what? Like, all right, and then I was telling him about all these people, the places up here to eat, and the culture. I know the stomach is a different thing on that end, but and then the next one I saw who was down the line, I was like, oh my God, are you kidding me? These are like, who was it? Claudia Christian. So I'm just gonna give myself this one. But but she was talking about her life,
Hmm.
you know, and we connected through that. And then I have her book, she signed her book, and she gave me the information. She got my doctor's information. Believe I was like, wait, what? So and the what she was advocating for,
Hmm.
and the alcoholism and and being sober and all of that. I was like, we were just talking like that. And we got the picture, blah, blah, blah. Then there was what's his name from yeah, phone and all that stuff. You know what I mean? So like that to me. And then I was like, man, I'm so glad I don't like fan out. Like, I'm like, oh my God, what about this movie? But I just saw you. I literally said though. So I am fangirling on this one. I
Yeah.
have to. Give me this.
Right.
Like saw you as captain. Okay.
Yep.
So so I have a picture with her. I mean, I didn't know she did it until I saw it on my phone. And she looked at me fangirling out. And I'm just looking at the camera. I'm like, oh, okay, just smiling. I was like, oh man, that's a priceless picture right there. And so it's just all that. I enjoy meeting people like that too.
Hmm.
Yeah, maybe we should do something together and meet people.
Yeah, like they said, we on another show I do met Joey Garcia, who was Bozo the Clown from 1984 to 2001 in Chicago, and he came on the
What?
show. Yeah, he came on the show, the other show that I do, and I talked about his earlier career stuff, his vaudeville stuff, and
Yeah.
he was taken aback by someone doing that kind of research,
Uh-huh.
and to the point where the other channel I'm on met him at another Comic Con, and he asked about me.
What?
So
That's awesome. Wait.
he just like asked how I was doing. I'm like, oh, that's awesome,
Oh my man. Well, somehow tell him. Am I right? If you can just throw that as a pigeon, put a pigeon on a letter on the pigeon,
Hmm.
get it through his agent, all that. Man. Yeah, and it's kind of weird to me. I don't know if you remember back in the day, even like in the teen, but I know you're a guy, so it's a little different on your end. But like we had the teen bop magazines and all that those
Hmm.
different things with Jonathan Taylor Thomas and Britney Spears and all that. And then on the magazine it says you got that fan. You could call 555 whatever it is, and you
Right.
couldn't get anywhere close to the stars, right? And then you
Yeah.
could write letters. Not sure if they get them, but it would be like some weird thing coming back maybe. But nowadays after 2020 or like the COVID and stuff like that, everybody is a little bit more accessible.
Hmm.
Where I thought it was kind of interesting, where like you and I, like we're meeting these people just like random.
Right.
I'm like, wait a minute, like we couldn't even get a hold of these people at all,
Right.
and then they're just accessible. And I'm like, I got a phone number. Say what? like, okay, this is I'm still not creeped out, but like, are you sure? Like, you real kind of thing. And I'm like, man, and it's really cool to see that. And then they
Yeah.
had those cameos. I mean, I don't want to pay for those, but they're accessible on those cameos. And they're like, and then on Facebook Lives, some people I had, who was it? Was a comedian, Bill Engvall.
Hmm.
He was sitting there in his chair. And then, I had said something and he responded back through the live. And I was like, okay. Like, and with Steve Wilco, is that his name? Steve Wilkos, he's on TikTok. TikTok is a
Yeah.
big one for them. I'm like, man, what the heck happened to all this? Forget
Yeah.
all.
Yeah, and it's amazing. There's right since I'm on YouTube, I talk and listen to, a channel that has 4 million subscribers, and they started a new show a couple years ago, and I was just in their chat. They weren't that big at that point in time, just chatting with them, getting to know them a little bit, and then they started doing like Twitch stuff, and they'd start seeing my name every once in a while, right, as Graveyard.
Yeah,
And so obviously, people can pay their super chats stuff like that just for someone to see you, but through the
right.
chat. And then one of the other channels I'm on did a convention, and they got those two guys from that channel there. Well, my podcast sponsored it,
Oh,
so I
nice.
gave them customized shirts for the podcast. And
Okay.
so, and then I got to I called them just to say, hey, what's up? Because it's out in California. I couldn't make it because it's far away from me. And all of a sudden, I'm seeing my shirt being worn on a channel that has 4 million subscribers.
Nice. Yeah, it's yeah, that's a
And,
fanboy right there. Yeah.
yeah. And so, the company kind of split up a little bit, and one of the guys started his own Twitch thing, but he needed assistance. Well, I do tech, and I was doing that stuff. So, talking to him through like Instagram, stuff like that, set up a call, help him set it up. So now I personally know him. I have his number and everything. And he's done this other show, and I sent him some new merch, and he's going to wear it. And we're actually casting him in one of the movies that we're making next year too. So it's just this this small world that you're able to build, and just like I said, treat them like people. That's
Yeah.
It's really easy.
Yeah, it's all you got to do. That's yeah, and it just I don't think I'll ever get used to that fact that that is happening just like that, versus what we're used to back then,
Mm-hmm.
where everything was hush hush and you had to go through security. Like, I mean, the security was worse, not worse, thicker than the president's security. Let's put it that way. You know what I mean? Back then, like
Right.
you had to go through the producers and all that stuff, and you still couldn't even get to the producer kind of thing, or whatever it was. I'm like, oh my God, like what is going on? But these kids don't know nowadays, like about how hard it was for us back then.
Yeah.
Like we literally had to have them on our wall and dream. Like that was it.
Yep.
That was it was just a dream. So, but man, yeah, that treating them like people. I want to know the stories,
Yeah.
Of course, because like act is not who they are. It's like their job
Mm-hmm.
or career or whatever. But I want to know, who are you?
Mm-hmm.
Like, I've never met you before. I want to know who you are. Whatever you want to show it. I mean,
Yeah.
I'm all for it. No, just respect. That's it.
Yep.
Pretty much made for
Yeah.
kids too. But um, and now we're hearing about like all these boomers coming on, telling their story. I think they really need to tell their story,
Yeah.
honestly. I think they're I'm feeling that they're yearning to tell the story because
Yeah.
they were always stuck in media. All their story was somebody else's conspiracy or whatever it was,
Mm-hmm.
and pieced together somewhere along the way. And now that I realize that these boomers need to really tell it, the historical pieces, whether it's harsh or not, and to bring it out, and so these new kids can hear about how to deal with that
Mm-hmm.
and all that, because everybody's dying off.
Yeah.
They're and they're being the boomers and Gen Xers technically are being quote unquote neglected or iced out, kind of almost, like they don't exist and they
Right.
don't matter. You know what I mean? That's what I'm seeing in social media, like a
Yeah.
lot. And I was like, wow, all right. Well, if I can get that out, the stories, all of our stories, whatever it is, inspiration, like something,
Mm-hmm.
somebody's trying to do something, somebody has something.
Yeah.
Uh, yeah,
And,
that's,
it's great doing the show I do, and the connections I've made over the past year is that, as now I'm, helping write, direct, assist direct, stuff like that. You go, hey, you're actors. Do you want to be in our movie? What would it take for you? And if they're willing to do it, fantastic. And all you can do is ask. And everyone I talked to so far is like, yeah, let's make it happen.
yeah. So as long as you're not boring, you're good. Like, you don't fanboy out, you don't fangirl out. I mean, they like the percentage, obviously, but this big, no. But yeah, keeping it real and keeping it nice. Like I've noticed that too.
Yeah.
Uh, yeah, and they love helping people out. I
Yeah.
think honestly, they're just at the retired stage. They're bored and they kind of missing that whole scene, like in a way, because that's what they're so used to. They were conditioned in
Hmm.
that world. So like, huh? All right, what do I do now? Like, you kind of thing.
Yeah.
But
But it's great because like I said, I love behind the scenes stuff. I'm like, tell me all the juicy details. Yeah, you told the story before, and maybe there's something you haven't told. Maybe there's a piece of information or a project that you've never got to talk about that you want to
yeah,
talk about.
right.
You know,
And that's what I want. I want the story. Like, give me
yeah,
that gem, please. I'm not going to ask about it, but you can tell about it. You have the floor. Like,
yeah,
you know, that was that's all I want. Like, you know, I mean that's all we want is to be seen or to
hmm,
be heard. Um, from deep inside, not just the outward appearance.
right.
That's I yeah, and people are crying now. Like,
That's how I run
man.
my show. That's what I do. That's how I that's how I treat everyone as a person.
Yep. Yep. And you seem like a cool dude to do that, and I respect that, honestly.
Thank
Not
you.
many people do that. Like there are a few people that I like on podcasters that actually are real
Hmm.
and they're and they're like, oh, okay. And then like they're maybe like me, I like, for instance, Cinnamon Toast Ken.
Hmm.
Shout out to him, but how him and Dane run the show, they're dads, you know what I mean? And then they go into these different things, especially with like the Catch a Predator,
Yeah.
like which is what they say. I'm like, that is so real. Sometimes I want to be like on the show because I'll be saying the same, like doing what we're doing now.
Yeah.
Man, yeah, let me type it, like whatever, get it. Like, we're 600-pound life, but they're interested in that. They're not putting somebody down. They're
Hmm.
just literally like, man, they're making me feel like like I'm fatter than, them or whatever it is, but they're real about it. But they're funny. But he's
Right.
got like ADHD, so his brain goes into different things. I'm like, I get it. We're right there. Like we're here. Like you're just saying what we're thinking here. So that. And then Charlotte Dobre, shout out to her. But she with her the way she does her podcast, she keeps it real and she's not some celebrity whatever, like she knows she's got game, okay, but she's not gonna treat somebody with disrespect when she sees them.
Hmm.
She's all about making sure that they feel loved and hugged and all that stuff. She's very humble, and stuff like that. And so yeah, if we can get more podcasters like that, all of us being able to just come in, we're all together, we're all practically the same age, or we're just kind of not
Yeah.
trying to keep up with the Joneses here. But respecting each other in our own little niches. When we help each other out.
Hmm.
We're not gatekeeping anything. You were helping bring up the society here and all that stuff, and it's all good. I don't get why everybody has to gatekeep stuff. Like
Yeah.
I don't get it. Like I really don't. But no, like yeah, but definitely. How do we get onto your podcast? Like, what's all your information?
You can follow all our social media at Pod Out at Night. That's our YouTube channel. And our weekly show is released anywhere you get your podcast. So it's on Spotify, it's on Amazon, even it's on iTunes. And it's called the Mostly Pod Out at Night, mostly. I said weekly drops every Wednesday at 9:30 p.m. Central. And then our Conversation in the Void is, like I said, it's our YouTube/Pod Out at Night, where you can catch our live shows and it stays up there as soon as it's done being live. It's up to watch whenever you want to. And we also throw our podcast there as well.
Okay. Do you have any merch or anything that you're selling?
I do have merch. We do have a website. It's on our link tree. It's the mostly pilot night mostly.com. Really short URL. We do have Teespring shirts where we have our logo, our old logo, which is behind me, on our stuff anywhere you can get it. We are working with a comic book artist on doing horror
Oh,
parody merch. We have two shirts that I need to get a photographer and a model to take pictures of. I'm not being the model for it. And no one wants to see this with my shirt. So we're gonna get that up there, and we are working on new merch. So we have the current logos we have is Newt from Aliens saying they mostly pod out at night, mostly with the helmet and doing the salute, with us kind of in the vents with the alien queen.
oh, nice.
And
Okay.
then we have Carol Ann turning away from the TV saying, "They're here." And it's our logo on the TV.
Like, do you know where your children are at night?
Well, and that's funny because like our slogans, we have us each of us have a catchphrase at the end that we sign off with. Mine is, "Have you checked in the children?" And then my co-host from Videodrome is, "Long live the new flesh." So
Uh,
we have those sayings, but like I said, we are working on parody merch and trying to collaborate with people as well. Like I said, we know comic book artists that we're working with, and we'll have more posts of that coming soon once we can get up and running.
okay, so you need somebody, a photographer in Indiana.
The guy who makes the shirts for us and the logos is in California. He's not that far from my person who does some of the photography for me. That's part of the
Mhm.
channel I'm on. So
Okay, so
I'm just sending her the stuff because she is a professional photographer.
right. Okay.
So she's gonna take care of that for us, and we'll be putting links on all our social media saying, "Hey, here's our new stuff. Here's how you get it. Send us an email." It'd be like I think 15 or 20 bucks a shirt because we have to pay for it. We have to pay for the logo too, which was not cheap. But yeah,
Okay.
we're planning on doing every other month a parody shirt for horror things. So we're gonna have like an X-Men
That would be
shirt.
fun.
We're gonna have an X-Men shirt, but it's gonna be all villains.
Nice. All right. Ooh, put some yeah, X-Men would, yeah, that would be fun.
Mhm.
That would be fun. Yeah. I was trying to
Because
imagine that, but
yeah, we're all nerds. We're all nerds too. So it's just kind of like what we're gonna do. Like one we're
yeah.
working on is, you've seen Odyssey Princess Bride, right?
Yep.
Okay,
Yep.
so
Uh,
have you heard of the horror movie Wishmaster? It's a genie
I have, but I
essentially.
haven't watched it.
Okay,
Is
so
it? Okay.
we're designing a shirt with him dressed as Wesley as Dread Pirate Roberts saying "as you wish" because he is a genie.
Right.
But
Oh, nice. Oh man, well, I can't wait to see these shirts though. Like, yeah, those would be kind of cool to see.
Mhm.
I have to get one autographed. Like, I'll purchase an autograph. That would be fun.
Mhm.
Like, oh man. Do you have any books or anything like that, or that you wrote?
No, but we are technically published in Spoiler Magazine. My co-host and I have written a couple articles for. We did some last year and some early this year where we wrote articles about fictional houses. So the house for Nightmare on Elm Street, or uh, the Stanley Hotel from The Shining, and stuff like
Oh,
that. So we wrote about 12 pages in each magazine, and
wow, that's a big publish. 12
yeah,
pages? That's pretty
yeah,
that's pretty good.
yeah. So technically, we're published writers too. So
All right. I want to, yeah, I'm definitely interested in that Elm Street. That's my favorite um movie
mhm.
is Mare on Elm Street, all of them. But
Yeah.
yeah, Chucky and I, we don't get along. I
No,
know he's fake.
you
I
don't get
know he's
along. You don't get along with Chucky.
yeah, me and Chucky, we for some odd reason, I know he's not real. Like I know that whole I'm not stupid, but that movie and we just I don't know. Like I don't know why it just doesn't sit with me right, but Freddy Krueger, we're friends, man. Like, like what
Oh,
was it?
he's hold on. He's there.
Oh, okay. What's the upside? Oh, okay, so you went like that, this
Yeah.
for.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah, he was doing it forever. Leprechaun wasn't. I wasn't impressed with Leprechaun. Like, but Freddy, he's my top
Yeah.
dog. My friend, when I was a kid, forced me to watch all the horror. He was a horror fanatic, still is, and he works in a mortuary. So he's like, well, that's a perfect job for you, dude.
Hmm.
Like, but yeah, so I was stuck watching all of them, but I actually liked it.
Yeah.
Jason, Mike Myers. There's a I can't remember the place that they do like for is it Halloween for in Pennsylvania. They have like hay rides and all that stuff, and then it's almost like it's a horror,
Yeah.
I can't remember what it was called. It's been so long. I wasn't scared, right? My friends were. Me, I figured it out. You got to be their friends in order for them not to chase you down.
Hmm.
Okay, you got to mess them up. so, so like Mike Myers would, I'm watching him sitting there waiting for my friend to get out of the whole hayride thing or whatever, and like Mike Myers is chasing people down, and then like this girl, she was in the mental unit, like one of the characters, and she played her character well. like I said, I remembered you in the unit, man. Like I was there, you know.
Yeah.
We were next door neighbors, kind of stuff. But I did Mike Myers. It's like, oh man, I was looking for you. Like, I mean, where like we were just on a date, kind of thing, and ghost me and all that stuff. Like, what the heck, man? He just was like, I was like, yeah. So like every time he tried me, and I was like, yeah, we dated me and I got your number. But I didn't know you. But he was just like, oh my God. So, got a picture with him and all that stuff. So he never chased me down. Everybody's like, how did you do that? That's what they're brain. You got to go mental right back at him.
Yep.
Stop running. Like, stop running. That's the problem in the movies. They ran too much. So so yeah, that was actually not a bad place to it wasn't a bad deal. But yeah, no, Chucky, forget it. Forget it. Absolutely not. I won't buy the doll. I won't do nothing. I won't even have them be in the house. Nope. Like we'll just surpass that or.
Hmm.
But yeah, no. I don't know. But but yeah, definitely. Um okay, well I'll have to put all this information up on the YouTube underneath if you can send me all that,
Hmm. Absolutely.
all your websites. I mean, I'll rewatch this and
Yep. I'll send
do all
you.
that extra.
I'll send you my link tree that I have that has everything on there.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
Definitely, because definitely want to buy some merch and make sure that's support. We got to support you guys.
Awesome.
Because I know we all have families, and people are stingy at some point.
Hmm.
But definitely got to make sure that the families are eating, kids are eating. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like
Oh
I
yeah.
feel that way. Like that's yeah. So, I really do appreciate you coming on
Oh,
the show
thanks for having me on.
and sharing your stuff. Yeah, and if you want, like, I mean, it's open to you can come back on and everything, like with different things and whatever you want to do. That's fine.
Awesome.
Um,
Sounds good.
definitely would love to have you back.
Yes. Awesome.
But all right. Well, we thank you
Thank
and
you.
definitely see you soon.
All right. Sounds good.
All right.